All right, the NFL Combine has come and gone, so now we're going to reevaluate our rookie rankings for the 2023 draft class, and it's going to get very, very interesting because, of course, the Combine changed some things. So stick around to see where we have each player ranked where, including Anthony Richardson, Sean Tucker, Zach Evans, things like that. First, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've got rookie content like this coming out all the time. This whole offseason leading up to the draft, we got 2 more months full of rookie content for you. And make sure you hit like on the video. That really helps us out, and it takes you like 2 seconds, and it's the thumb thing, so just click it. And make sure you check out our locals page. That's where all of our exclusive content is, all of our rookie rankings, ADP data, exclusive mock drafts, live streams, etc. So make sure you check that out as well. Today we are going to rank, I think we have 21 rookies on here. So this is not a positional ranking video. We are going to do all the positions together, so we are just going to we're going to see where this is essentially a mock draft of some sorts, but we're going to put them into tiers. The Combine was great. We went to the Combine and realized that we could see and hear more at home, which happened last year too, and we forgot. So we ended up coming home and watching most of it, but it's still very cool to go. Still very cool that it was in Indianapolis, and we're really glad that we got to go. The most important implications from the Combine, obviously, were the results for some of these prospects that we've been keeping an eye on for so long now. So we're going to put them into tiers, and I'll let you talk about Bichon. He is still in a tier by himself. It's a hard decision for us, but he is, and Bichon obviously had a really good Combine.
Yeah, I think he ended up pulling away with a 4.47, I believe, his 40 time, correct?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
And
I'll fact check you.
Yeah, his size was fine, nothing crazy, but again, we didn't expect
4.46.
Yeah, we didn't expect going into the Combine that his measurables and his 40 time and things like that were going to be out of this world, like generational or anything like that. This is why we've said for a while that Bichon Robinson is being treated like the next Saquon Barkley. He's not. He's amazing. He's an awesome talent, and we expect him to be phenomenal and an elite level running back in Dynasty, which is why he's in our S tier. But again, if you're down on him because of his results of the Combine, don't be. His film speaks for itself. He had a great Combine. He did exactly what we thought he would. There's no reason to be shorting him at all. There's no reason his stock should be down even a little bit. He did what we expected.
Have you seen anybody shorting him?
No, not yet.
Okay,
I mean,
I don't think
it just happened like yesterday. Okay, we're recording here on Monday, but I could see that being a possibility with some people comparing
Bichon
to
Robinson,
Saquon.
Yeah, 5'11", 215 pounds officially at the Combine. That is workhorse size. That is 3 down size with 3 down skill. I mean, a 4.46. He came in and ran a sub 4.5 like everybody said he would. There's some dude that said we owed him money for that, but I don't understand what that was.
What?
I know. We didn't say he would. But a 37-inch vertical, a 10.4 broad jump. I mean, Bichon Robinson looked as athletic as it gets. I mean, for the most part, and then especially at that size, coming in at 215. I mean, he's got the athleticism, he's got the footwork, he's got the skills, the receiving game, and he's got the size to go with it. Bichon Robinson is an amazing prospect. There's no way around it. And
cannot wait to see what he does with his receiving upside too, wherever he ends up.
Yeah.
Right now, again, like we've said before, he's being mocked to the Lions. I actually really, really like that landing spot for him more than even the Bucks. But again, we'll see that. We'll see where he ends up in a month and a half.
Yeah, and then I think, and again, it's tough because we could easily, in a Superflex league, I think we could make an argument that we could put any of these QBs up there, especially Anthony Richardson after he had that Combine that he did. But this next tier is going to feature some of the quarterbacks, and our first one's going to be Bryce Young. So Bryce Young obviously didn't throw at the Combine. He's going to wait till his pro day. He didn't really do much at all. He did weigh in. He was 5'10", 205 pounds.
That's huge. We were wanting him to be like 190. And he ended up being 15 pounds more than we expected.
I figured he would come in at 200, 205, just from the way they're making it sound in terms of like his diet plan and stuff like that. But this doesn't really change anything. I mean, and Bryce Young is still small. Like 5'10" is still small. And people are making the Kyler Murray comparison in terms of size, which is great, but they're totally different players with totally different types of skills. So it's still a question, but Bryce Young obviously does everything extremely well. I mean, he is just a very, very, very good quarterback prospect. Still probably the favorite to go 101 in this class, but obviously him coming in at 5'10", 205 is much better than him coming in at like 5'9", 190. So you will take the size. It's just there's still it doesn't completely erase any question that there was. That said, Bryce Young is looking like he's going to be the 101 in this year's draft, and rightfully so.
Yeah. And what you'll continue to hear again and again is how many people have you seen, how many players in the NFL, the quarterback position, have been successful at the size that Bryce Young is? And I would counter that with how many people of Bryce Young's size have you seen play at as high of a level as he did in college?
Absolutely. Yeah, he was completely incredible in college. CJ Stroud is next. Again, and all these guys in this tier, they're in the same tier, so you could move any of these guys around. I mean, a lot of people are going to want to take A-Rich over both these guys now, and if he goes top 5 in a Superflex league with that rushing upside, we can't blame you. But CJ Stroud, I mean, obviously, size not an issue. He weighed in at 214. He's 6'3". He didn't really, outside of throwing, didn't do a whole lot. He didn't really run the 40. I don't think he did any athletic drills. But throwing the ball, man, at the combine, CJ Stroud, I mean, that's what he does best. We knew this coming into the combine. His skill that is the showstopper is the accuracy, and he really showed it off. I don't know if you got to watch any of his throwing drills, but he put on
I saw some. Yeah, he did a great job. There are a lot of, actually, even some down the road prospects here or down the line QB prospects that really showed out too and surprised and maybe even boosted their draft capital and their future stock eventually. But with Stroud, I tweeted this a couple days ago. I basically said that he is the safest QB in this class. He may not have the highest ceiling. We don't know, but let the NFL decide that. And I think really for me, that solidifies Stroud as pretty much consensus 103, 104 in Dynasty rookie drafts right now. I don't think he can go any lower. And if you want him to go higher, I guess you can make an argument for that as well, because again, he has no measurable concerns and he has no production concerns. And zero questions with him really at all. It's all ceiling.
Anthony Richardson lit up the combine. This is what
he broke the combine.
He literally broke it. This is what you guys have been waiting for. Anthony Richardson, obviously we have never seen something like this. He does not have a comp. He is ginormous. He weighed in at 244 pounds at 6'4". That is massive.
CJ Stroud has no size concerns whatsoever, but when he and AR were standing by each other doing warm-ups, AR made Stroud look like a baby.
Just from the, he's just a big dude.
It was insane.
4'3" in the 40. That is ridiculous. A 40-inch vertical. 40 inches. A 10.9 broad jump. I'm telling you, they did like the simulcast with him and Cam Newton, and he like dusted Cam Newton in the 40. Newton.
Yeah.
It was
which is
ridiculous.
Yeah, and this is why, the big reason why here, a lot of times we like to overreact about combine results. This is one of those scenarios where you're not overreacting at all.
No.
If you think AR should go even as high as 101 in Dynasty startups right now, I cannot fight you. I can't. He just broke the combine. He completely, like you said, completely dusted Cam Newton's numbers. And Cam Newton went 101. And Cam Newton was almost before his time.
Yep.
AR could be the future. The future of your next specimen QBs in the NFL. He could easily go 101 in the NFL draft. He could easily be above Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. From a fantasy perspective, I think there's even an argument to have AR over Bryce Young and Stroud right now. I am on the fence about it because, again, I don't want to overreact. The one thing that Cam Newton has a leg up on AR going into the NFL is that his production in college looked a lot different. It looked a lot better too. Yeah. AR still had he saw some massive red flags in terms of what he did in Florida. Coaching staff was bad. Surrounding weapons were really, really bad. How much were they able to develop him as a QB? We don't really know. So that's kind of why we're still on the fence right now and still being conservative with ranking him here as the third QB off the board. But I mean, come April, come the NFL draft, he could be 101 even over Bichon.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And then last in this tier, we have to put Jackson Smith and Jigba. I said last week on the show, the main thing I was looking for with Jackson Smith and Jigba was athleticism. Now, obviously, he didn't run the 40, so we do not have his 40-yard dash information yet. But looking at his relative athletic score that we'll put up for you to see as well, Obviously, the height and weight, he was I think he was 6 foot or 6'1". He has 196 pounds. Yeah. He had a 35-inch vertical, which is good. His broad jump was 8 feet, 8.37 feet. So that's also very good. But it's the agility that really stood out for Jackson Smith-Njigba. Obviously, the shuttle, he had a 3.93, and with the 3-cone, it was 6.57. Those were his times. Those are legitimately elite, and that is how Jackson Smith-Njigba beats people. His elite change of direction, elite agility. He's very, very good manipulating defenders. That is how he is so good. And again, he didn't run the 40, and I think he's going to do it at his pro day, and obviously those numbers can be skewed. But in terms of what I wanted to see, I mean, the RAS came in at 9.39. In terms of what I wanted to see from Jackson Smith-Njigba to solidify him as our wide receiver 1, I saw it. I mean, he's as athletic as, it was the opposite of Keyshawn Butte. The complete opposite. I just realized he's not even on our rankings.
No.
He's not even in this video.
He doesn't deserve to be.
Oh my
He doesn't. And I have no regrets about that.
So JSN, great combine for him.
Yeah, and actually I was wrong. He is 6 foot. Just 6'0", 196. Yeah. And with him, I said earlier in a video that recorded over the weekend that you guys will see later this week too, but I did say JSN's stock could fall based off of what QJ and Addison do since they're both running the 40. Well, QJ ended up not running the 40, and Addison's 40 was mid. It wasn't disappointing. It didn't blow us out of the water. It was pretty much what we wanted for him to sort of maintain his value and expectations going into the draft. So I actually don't think JSN's value is going to be hurt here at all.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving down into the next tier, the first guy that we're going to have here is Will Levis. If you watched the throwing portion of his group, Will Levis looked really good, and he was showing off that arm of his. That's one of the only things he did. He had 34-inch vertical, 10.4 broad jump, and then that was about it. So we didn't see him do a lot of athleticism things. However, those are good numbers for the two metrics that he did decide to participate in. And in terms of his throwing, I mean, obviously everybody knows he has a huge arm. At this point, he's looking like he's going to go top 10. He's obviously got a lot of upside. He's obviously a little bit more raw than Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. But again, looked really good at the combine, and we got to see him in person, and man, he can just flick that wrist, and it is a complete rocket launcher of an arm.
Yeah, he was so much fun to watch. I don't think he definitely didn't disappoint. I also don't think he boosted his stock much at all, and we didn't expect him to. Again, this is one of those landing spot dependent prospects. Really depends on his draft capital. Really depends on what people think, on what the NFL thinks about his film as a prospect at Kentucky. So he could easily be here in the second tier with Young, Stroud, really Young and Stroud, I would say. Possibly. So we're just having him here at tier 3 because there are definitely a lot of question marks, and he could fall.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you could make an argument to move Levis up with the other QBs.
Yeah, I don't really see a scenario where Young, Stroud, or AR fall anymore. Yeah. Levis, there's still a possibility that he does.
That is true. All right, moving on to Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, slid down just maybe slightly, partially as a result of Anthony Richardson jumping up, but partially because, obviously, with Jahmyr Gibbs, the size is going to be at least somewhat of a question. At 5'9", 200 pounds, would have loved him to come out 205, 210, but obviously 5'9", that's pretty small.
I don't know. It didn't really bug me at all. I mean, his BMI is significantly better than James Cook's. And no, I'm not saying that as a joke, but like for real. I mean, James Cook last year, no one expected him to be a bell cow running back. Everyone expected his receiving upside to be why he would be such a good fantasy asset, and he went late first round. Yep. Gibbs is better in every single metric.
He went late second.
James Cook in Dynasty drafts went late first.
No. I mean, he's still ranked. Look at it. I mean, he ran a 4.36. Like he looked good.
Crazy.
He looked athletic. I mean, 33-inch vertical is fine. It's nothing special. But you're looking at his RAS, it's a 7.95. So obviously the size is going to bring him down there, and the vertical not super great as well. But
again, we never expected him to be a bell cow. Yeah. We never expected his production to come from that. He's a PPR back.
Yeah, and you know what? With the route tree that he has, and the fact that the size isn't like Devon A-Chain level concerning. He's going to be valuable to an NFL team, and he's going to score fantasy points. Yeah. So with Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously he's still going to be up here for us. Also, we got this is a stacked tier. This is a stacked class, guys. I mean, we've been telling you, but Quentin Johnston. So QJ, obviously, everybody kind of came into the combine thinking, okay, QJ is going to come in at 6'4" and whatever. He's going to be everybody. It's just he was smaller than we thought it was. This has him listed at 6'3". I thought I saw 6'2", but 208 pounds, so a little bit smaller than we thought, which isn't really a bad thing. Like I'm not going to knock the guy for being. That's still not like. That's still good size. That's plenty good size. A 40-inch vertical, the same vertical as Anthony Richardson, so obviously shows he's pretty athletic. An 11.2 broad jump.
Nice.
I mean, QJ,
awesome.
Man, the sky is the limit for him. Obviously, we have JSN. We like him the most, but QJ is in his own right had just as good a combine, I think, and
yeah,
he can be extremely, extremely good in the NFL.
Yeah.
And you're getting him. Look, I mean, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're 8 picks in. I mean, you can potentially get this guy at the 108 in your rookie drafts.
And you have just as good a chance of him ending up being the best prospect out of this class and the best fantasy producer as the guy that goes 101.
He has a chance to be the best wide receiver out of this class. He absolutely does. So that's ridiculous. Yeah. Obviously, QJ looked good. And then Jordan Addison also as well here. And people, I think...
Are people low on Addison because of the combine?
So. I think they are. And
then I'll smash by him everywhere.
I mean,
that's fine with me.
You don't need, like, I know what it seems like, you know, coming out and running a 4.49 40. That's not great, but it's also not terrible. I mean, not all wide receivers are burners. And obviously, people are going to point to the height. I mean, 5'11" and 171 is what he came in at size-wise. And people are going to look at that, and then they're going to look at the speed, and then they're going to look at, a 5.82 RAS, and they're going to say, yeah, it's not worth it for me. I mean, Jordan Addison's a good receiver. We saw it at 2 different schools. He obviously won the Biletnikoff. He is coming in with a skill set that I think will be fine in the NFL. People worried about his... I mean, I guess technically still he has to be an outlier. However, you see more and more receivers coming in at sizes like this and doing things in the NFL. Obviously, our latest example is Devonta Smith. But Jordan Addison, I think he's a good receiver, and if you're getting him at the 109 here, I'm smash buying him. I think he's very good, very, very good at prospect still. So.
Yep. Then we got Charbs, who's coming up next here. He did exactly what we were hoping for in the combine. He did nothing to give us any reason to drop him in our rankings. We think at this point he's even close to being, in our eyes, maybe even the RB2 in this class over Gibbs.
Yes.
I think you could absolutely make a case for that. He has the size to be a bell cow running back. He has every single tool in his toolkit, man. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run. He has a decent route tree. Solid vision. I mean, everything you would expect or want from a guy who's going in the first round as a running back in Dynasty rookie drafts is Zach Charbonnet has it.
Yeah.
He's just a diet Bichon Robinson, really.
The relative athletic score came in at 9.42. I mean, Charbonnet is obviously a guy that can do a lot very well. I would say he lacks like a specific elite trait, but again, for an
that's what I meant by diet.
For a relative elite athletic score, Bichon's elite at everything. Sharps is probably just good to very good, at everything. The 37-inch vertical was super nice, and he came out and ran a 4.53, which for somebody that is his size, and I'm going to take a 4.53 there. Absolutely, it's not obviously he doesn't have burner speed, but we knew that coming in. So I'm very pleased with him, and I think also I'm considering him for the RB2 position now. I think they're, at the very least in the same tier, and
they're definitely in the same tier. Yep.
So, do you want to move Flowers into this tier?
I want to.
All right, go for it.
Okay, we're good. We're gonna have Zay Flowers here in tier 3 as well. His combine performance, in our eyes, was incredible. He really showed out in what we thought he really needed to. His 40 was fine. It was 4.5. I think it was 4.5 flat, right? If I'm not mistaken. 4.5 flat, if not just over.
It was 4. Actually, no, he ran a 4.42.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So, anyways,
faster than that.
Zay Flowers is as advertised. I think it took a while for him to get some publicity because he wasn't coming from a real big deal school, coming out of BC and the ACC. They're not a really, well-known football college overall. But I mean, everything we've said about him based off of his film so far has shown to be accurate based on his combine performance in terms of his route running, his explosiveness, his ability to elude defenders after the catch, his yards after the catch ability. We kind of said that he's sort of a better version of Marquise Brown. Yeah. That's his ceiling in our eyes, and we could see him being utilized in that way. He can be a target hog in the NFL. He can be that alpha wide receiver, we think. So I like him in this tier.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what I have on him.
I mean, yeah, the 4.42 was great. His RAS was 7.6. I'm just referencing relative athletic score because it's a good metric to kind of compile everything together. It's obviously not gospel and it's not a direct indicator of how a player's going to do, but it just is a good indicator of how this other person's combine went. Good broad jump, fine vertical. Obviously, the height and the weight were what's bringing his RAS down. He's at 5'9", 182. So, with Zay Flowers, I think the biggest knock on him is obviously going to be his production in college. You didn't see him come out and completely dominate like you want to see when somebody comes from a smaller school like that. Usually, I think with the receivers, you see them kind of just completely destroy. He didn't see that with Zay Flowers, but I think he still had a fine college career, and I think part of that also was didn't always have the best quarterbacks throwing to him as well, and you have to consider that.
Yeah.
But he obviously bulked up. You saw the pictures before and after the combine. If you didn't, they're on Twitter. And, with him coming in and running a 4.42, still getting first-round buzz after the combine, I think it's safe to say that we're going to take – I think this would be the 111.
Yeah, he's been consistently getting first-round buzz and has been for a minute, and now it's just been, again, solidified by the combine numbers. So.
Absolutely. This class is so deep. We can talk about all of these guys for so long. So we're going to do part 2 of this video tomorrow. Actually, we've got a ton of guys here in the next 3 tiers that we want to rank continually, and we're already at 20 minutes. We could talk forever about these dudes. This is a deep class, and tomorrow you should really tune in because these are the guys you can get some of these dudes in the second round. I mean, there are some elite receivers we haven't talked about, some really good running backs, and some tight ends that are destined to get some first round capital. Maybe the deepest tight end class we've seen in a long time, and there's some really nice talent at the top. So we're going to break this up into 2 videos. We'll do part 2 of our rookie rankings tomorrow, so make sure you subscribe so that you get that right when it comes out, and make sure you like this video as well as the one we're going to release tomorrow. Make sure you head to our locals page. This is where you're going to find all of our rookie rankings, our full player rankings, our ADP data. You get access to exclusive articles and mock drafts, listener leads, etc. So make sure you head over to our locals page. The link is in the description for that as well. As always, we appreciate you listening. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.